Hi everyone, my name's Ellie. I'm your host and welcome to the University of Lincoln. It's, in my opinion, one of the best universities in the world. So you could do far worse than spend the next hour of your life in the company of me and Emma.
Afternoon, everybody.
Emma, tell us a little bit about you and why you're here.
I am here because I look after recruitment at the university. So I've got a wealth of knowledge from all sorts of students that have arrived with the University of Lincoln over the years. So welcome, and most importantly, ask us your questions today. This is your opportunity to tell us where you're calling from, say hi, and equally ask any questions you want to know about joining the university. We are here with all of our experts on hand.
Literally just drop them in the chat. And thank you. Emma is a world leading expert on all things higher education and university. So ask her your questions. And today we'll be meeting an alumnus, we'll be meeting our friends from Accommodation, we'll be meeting some of the admissions team, and then we'll be meeting some of the Students' Union team. And for parents, there is a specific parents talk which is taking place at 4:50, and we'll direct you how to get to that later on. So if you're here with us and you're here for the virtual open day, then you're in the right place. If you're looking for the offer holder day for the College of Science or the College of Social Science, then you need to redirect yourself. So Emma, do you want to tell people how?
Yeah, so if you are on the website, or what you need to do is, and just as our very helpful Darren has done, you go to the link at the bottom of our sort of page, so at lincoln.ac.uk OHD, and then you can scroll down to the subject that you are interested in, and those sessions are starting now.
Thank you, Emma. And as Emma says, please do say hi if you're watching and tell us where you are and where you're watching from. I'm actually in Waddington at the moment, which is just outside of Lincoln. Normally, we'd be welcoming you into our Isaac Newton building, which is a fantabulous building on our Brayford Pool campus. And we'd be serving snacks and coffee in our welcome area. Where are you at the moment, Emma?
I'm central Lincoln, so it's a little bit windy and a little bit wet today, but I'm central. But as Ellie said, as soon as we can bring you onto our campus, then that is our intention. So we are looking forward to actually giving you a taster today, and then coming to visit us.
Hello, hi, Megan. Megan from Corby. Lovely to meet you. There are student ambassadors who are joining in the chat as well. So if you've got a question, some of our students will link up with you, and it will help you find out a little bit more about what they think about the University of Lincoln and what it's like as a place to live and study. That moves us on really nicely, and I'd like to introduce to you Darren. Darren Hill is an alumnus of the University of Lincoln, and you will also see from his name tab that he's our producer today. Hello, Darren.
Hi, you all right?
Yes, really good, Darren. So try and give a quick summary as to how you're both an alumnus and a producer.
Yeah, well, I guess my story started in 2011 when I joined the University of Lincoln, and I studied film and television. Absolutely loved my time at Lincoln. Loved the university and the city. Definitely made me the sort of person I am today and set me on the path to working here. So I graduated in 2014. I've got a few photos actually, which I'll show you a little bit later on from my graduation, and you'll get to see how beautiful the ceremony actually is. But yeah, I graduated 2014, worked as a video editor for a little bit, and then now work in the marketing department here at the university, and get to produce lots of really exciting virtual talks such as these, such as our virtual open days, and there was our really exciting live lounge with Dr. Alex George yesterday as well. So working on really cool stuff like that.
Very cool. That is really cool. So, hi Ryan from Skegness. I'm guessing that seaside town might be very windy today, and Joe as well from Surrey. And fantastic that you've got an interview. That's amazing. Well done, Joe. And Natalie from Hong Kong. So we've got an international cohort this afternoon, which is amazing.
So let's show them the hidden gem that is the city of Lincoln. And the thing about the University of Lincoln, which is really wonderful, is that we're a campus university, but we're in the heart of an amazing city. And here you can see the castle. The castle is an 11th century Norman castle. It's at the top of the city of Lincoln Hill. And within that, you'll find a copy of the Magna Carta. There are only 4 copies remaining in the UK. And in Lincoln, we're really lucky because it sits alongside the Charter of the Forest. So if you love medieval history or history, Lincoln is the place for you.
It certainly is.
And that pause was to hint to producer Darren to keep us moving. And if you turn round from looking at the castle, you find yourself confronted by the amazing Lincoln Cathedral. This was built in 1072. And at the time, it was the tallest building in the world, even taller than the pyramids at Giza. And the reason for that was because the towers that you can see there, they actually had wooden towers on top, which made them double the height. And so right up to 1548, it was the tallest building in the world, and a magnificent sight that you can see from absolutely anywhere in Lincolnshire. In 1548, I believe it was struck by lightning. The towers fell down, caught fire, fell down, and they were never rebuilt. So that's my bit of important knowledge about the city, but Emma will tell you something much more exciting about the cathedral.
The most exciting thing I think that I like about the cathedral, apart from the fact that it still blows me away every time that I see it, and I've lived in Lincoln all my life, so it's the most magnificent building. But in this picture, you will see that there looks like there's a graduation ceremony going on, which is absolutely true. We host our graduation, thank you, Darren, in the cathedral itself, and have all of our celebrations across in the castle square and in the castle grounds. So it is absolutely unique. Arguably one of the best graduation ceremonies in the country, I would say. If you just look at the magnificent sort of setting, and as a parent, as an employee of the university, as a graduate, I don't think there is anybody that doesn't have a tear in their eye, because it is so amazing.
It is. Darren, it was amazing for you, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just looking at that photo, it just looks so majestic, doesn't it? It looks so stunning, and that photo looks great, but it's nothing like actually being there. And once you're sat in your seat and you're so nervous about having to go on stage, and I say having to, it's an amazing experience, and you get to shake the hand of our Vice Chancellor and get your award, and everyone, all your family members are cheering on. It's such an unreal experience. It was absolutely amazing. There's nothing like it, really.
And I'm going to say hi to Chris from Cambridgeshire, hi to Ellie from Lowestoft, lucky you, beautiful place to be. Amy from Doncaster, equally a lovely place to be. Joe, we're delighted that you're here. Don't be nervous. And Reams, yes, it is beautiful. And I think Darren's going to take us on a journey from the top of the hill, which is only about 10-15 minutes walk from the campus, down steep hill, so called because it's one of the steepest hills in the UK, and it's a beautiful place, lots of coffee shops, lots of beautiful little bespoke shops. Emma, you love to go there, I know.
I certainly do. It's one of my favourite places, and it's certainly during the last 12 months, it's somewhere that I sort of can quite happily walk around on a Sunday afternoon and grab a coffee. It's absolutely beautiful. I try and avoid going up the hill quite regularly because it is very steep, but there's loads of little shops, so there's always plenty of time for a little bit of spending as well. So it's really lovely, really beautiful.
1 in 5 people in Lincoln is a student, so it's a really student-orientated city, isn't it, Darren? And there's lots of things to do when you're a student.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go on, we'll see some new sort of areas of the city, which we'll talk about some of the things that are there. But yeah, there's definitely lots to do. I mean, just looking at this photo, it always reminds me of Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. All the sort of quirkiness and old school style of it is really nice. But that's sort of the Belgate area with lots of old style shops and tea rooms and things. But down in the city is much more modern. That's where you've got all your bars and restaurants and things like that.
Yeah, it's true. Hi, Rosin. Thanks for joining us. This is Stokes's coffee shop. 120 years of serving the most fantabulous coffee. And there's a little gap next to Stokes there that is actually called the Glory Hole. And you go down through the Glory Hole and this is what you see. So this is, and you can see the fusion of old and new, which is one of the things that makes Lincoln such an amazing city to live and study in. So here you've got the Odeon, you've got lots of bars and restaurants along the side of the river, Brayford Pool. Historically, I won't bore you, but it used to be a Roman retirement village. It hosted Henry VIII, so much history here in Lincoln. And on the left-hand side is the university, so right in the heart of this dynamic and vibrant space. And this is taken from the university campus, looking back up to where we've been. So you get a real sense here for how close you are and how embedded you are in the heart of the city, which I think as a student is brilliant because you don't need a bike, you don't need a taxi late at night. You can literally walk anywhere, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never ever needed to take a taxi, a bus, or anything like that. You can walk everywhere. Wherever you're staying, if you're staying on campus or off campus, but you're staying certainly in any of one of our accommodations, you're probably 5-10 minutes away from a supermarket, from some place like McDonald's. And I know when I was in Courts, I was 2 minutes away from where I was having my lecture in the morning, and 2 minutes away from McDonald's, 5 minutes away from Morrison's. So that was my student life sorted.
And I'm going to say a big hello to Andy and Hayley, who are watching from Long Sutton, whose daughter starts with us in October in events management, which is fabulous. And we do, a number of students come and work for us in the marketing team as ambassadors and help us with all of the events that we do. We do lots and lots of events. There's always something exciting going on at Lincoln. So we did with Dr. Alex George, as Emma said yesterday, we did an online talk, and we've got a live talk with Dr. Alex, which is in London in August, hopefully later this year, subject to government restrictions. And coming back with a hello to Megan, really nice to see you and Luna. This is our award-winning library.
It is. And Darren, did you spend plenty of time in the library?
I actually did, yeah. Often it's 24/7, so it's a really amazing place to be able to study on your time, not just on the time where it's open. So yeah, I spent a lot of time there, writing that dreaded dissertation towards the end. Spent many an hour in the library, definitely. And just across from that is actually Towers, it's called now, and the engine shed. And there's actually some restaurants around that, so you're not sort of out of the way with the library. You can pop out, grab some food, and relax afterwards after some studying.
Certainly
Emma.
It's certainly a mix of work and play, isn't it? It's sort of, they're both very close together at Lincoln.
They really are. Reem says, do you get a lot of international students? So Darren, I'll ask you to answer that one if that's okay.
Yeah, we do. I think there's over 100 nationalities represented on campus, actually. So definitely get lots of international students. On my course on film and TV, I met lots of students who were from overseas. So yeah, I would say absolutely. You might be able to say a lot more on the activities we do for those students and how they get involved, but definitely, yeah.
And it looks like Reams and Luna have got to know each other already, which is great. We do something called Friends for Life. So once you've applied, you can put your details into Friends for Life, and we'll help link you up through Facebook to other people with the same interests, similar course, staying in the same accommodation, to try and help you make friends and get ready for Lincoln as early as you can. And Emma, do you want to describe what we can see here?
Yeah, so what we're looking at now is, as we move from the white building, which houses an awful lot of our art, architecture, construction, and sort of at the side there our engineering and Isaac Newton building, moving across the campus to the Brayford Pool, where we've seen those pictures earlier, sort of looking onto the Odeon, to the restaurants and bars along the sort of Brayford front there. So it just gives a really visual sort of interpretation until you can come and visit us, exactly how close and how compact we actually are. And the sun is shining on there as well, so it makes it look even better.
It is, and subject to government guidance, we're really hoping that we'll be able to welcome people live onto campus around about mid-May. So do keep a watching eye on our website, and you can register now if you want to pre-register for one of those tours. Then that's absolutely great. Now, Darren, I didn't ask what's happened to your hair here.
Well, it was a little bit longer. I'm getting close to it, to be honest. With lockdown, I can only cut so much myself. But yeah, I thought it'd be nice to show a few photos of my graduation, really, because it was the best part of studying at Lincoln. After 3 years of hard work, getting to celebrate with friends and family is absolutely amazing, and the setting as well, which you'll see, is brilliant. So yeah, the one on the right is me collecting my certificate, and basically you do this thing where you walk on stage in front of everyone and everyone cheers you on. It's absolutely brilliant. And then the one on the left, you can't really tell in that photo, but my hat is off because it was such a sunny day. I was taking refuge in one of the celebration tents where you get you can celebrate with your family and stuff. But that's in a castle, and if I go to the next one, you can see what it looks like, and it's one of the most sort of photogenic places you could ever celebrate a graduation ceremony with. Really, it's the most amazing backdrop for celebrating with friends and family. And you after all that hard work, and you want to get sort of dressed up, don't you, and get all your photos and throw your hat in the air and do all that sort of stuff. So I want to share these ones actually because these are friends of mine, James and Mark, who I still talk to today, met in first year. As you can see, graduated in 2014. Was actually best man for James and a groomsman for Mark, and James was my best man. So yeah, really still got a really close network of friends from course and from people I stayed with all the way back from the first week of university, which is crazy if you think about it. But lots of people do say that coming to university, you do make friends for life.
Darren, I probably shouldn't ask you this, but did you meet your wife at uni?
No, I didn't meet my wife at uni, but Mark, who is in that photo, did meet his wife at university through the Harry Potter Society he set up. Shout out to Mark.
He will not like you telling people that.
It's a very active society at the University of Lincoln. I'm sure they tell us about that.
It's brilliant. I was head of Gryffindor for a bit, so very proud of that society. It's a brilliant, it is a cool legacy to leave, isn't it? Creating this society, and now still one of the biggest ones.
There are a lot of other societies. There is football, rugby, cheerleading, but I think we come on to that. There's been a couple of questions. Someone said how many students in the average year, and it's around about 4,000 undergraduates join us each year. So we're relatively small. It's very much a home from home, a very friendly place to be. And somebody asked, Sophia, I think asked what the facilities for medical students are like. And we've just completed a new medical school building for the Lincoln Medical School, which is something we're really proud of. It's beautiful. There's a wonderful clinical skills suite. It really looks fabulous. There's some pictures on our social media feed, I think, aren't there?
There are.
Yeah.
Obviously put those on, but they look incredible. Sorry, Darren.
No, check out our Instagram account. Got a fair few really nice photos of that.
Yeah, and yes, nursing and midwifery students have their own space as well. But Darren, tell us what we're looking at here, because this looks quite busy.
Yeah, I'm going to cycle through a few photos because I think it's really important to show some of the activities and events that you can get up to once you join us. This is a Quack, which Lucy will tell you a little bit more about later, perhaps. But Quack is a regular student night on campus at the engine shed. It's really, really popular. Lots of students like to attend it. You get free rubber ducks thrown out into the audience, which we all love to collect. I think there's a whole host that you can collect, but it's on campus. So if you're staying in any of our accommodation, it's probably about 5 minutes away from where you are. And if you live in certain accommodation, you've got lots of fast food outlets on your way home as well, which is really nice. This was one of the events I think they ran not too long ago.
It was this year. Yeah, this was Neon Golf, because we did quite a few socially distanced events this year. And the great thing about the Engine Shed, it's the largest venue locally. It's absolutely huge. So we carried on. We did socially distanced quizzes. We had a comedian, and I always get it wrong. It was one of the Russells, Russell Kane, at our freshers this year. So we did freshers as per normal, but we did multiple sittings so we could do socially distanced freshers, which was brilliant. And it meant that lots could carry on in terms of providing activities. And we did outdoor cinema as well, which I hope there's a yes, that's not a socially distanced outdoor cinema. That's from the previous year, that one. We did food festivals this year, which were very popular. And that is, Darren, I'm going to come to you because I'll get it wrong.
So that's the Swan. That is one of the SU venues. So they've got a few, actually. They've got the Engine Shed, Towers, the Swan, and the Barge. They're all kind of different. The Swan is more of it's right in the heart of campus, and it's more of a pub feel as well. And this is Towers. Towers is, you get to watch sports there. It's more of a bar atmosphere. Huge as well. This is really big as well. As you can see, you get to watch lots of sports. That is right next to the library, but right next to the Engine Shed as well. Lots of venues. And then the Barge, actually, I didn't mention the Barge, but the Barge is a cocktail venue, a really fancy cocktail venue. It's amazing.
What it says, it's a boat that floats on the Brayford, which is fabulous.
Very cool, Barge. Very cool.
Yeah, this is the Dance Society, who won quite a few awards, I think, this particular year. There are loads of clubs and societies. This is Quidditch. I know Robin was asking about sporting societies. And I think Neem was asking about, this is the cheerleaders. They won the Bucks this year, I think. Neem was asking about mental health support. Emma, did you want to say a few words around that?
Yeah, I can see, thankfully, this afternoon we've got the student wellbeing team that are answering questions, but we have the most incredible wellbeing team. So if you want to go onto our YouTube or Facebook as well, go and have a look at our sort of interview with Alex George yesterday. And that was an interview alongside the head of wellbeing, Julie Spencer, and that covered a whole host of things. So anybody that's worried or anybody that is slightly unsure about what support and that transition from school to university, watch that, because not only is it very entertaining, it also gives you some really key information and help. So have a look at that. But I know that the student wellbeing team are also sort of answering in the stream as well. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. And Darren, you've been amazing. Before you leave, can you try and sum up for us what it was like being a student, what you really enjoyed about being at Lincoln?
Yeah, well, absolutely. What I really enjoyed was, because I came from a small town and I came to Lincoln, and it's an absolutely beautiful city. It doesn't feel massive like London, and that's the beauty of it. You don't need to I didn't need to get a bus anywhere. I didn't need to travel between my accommodation. Didn't need to sort of get a bus to a supermarket or something like that. It was all so close knit. And I think you said earlier, that's the uniqueness of it. It's an on-campus university, so you get a campus feel, but right in the middle of the city, and you get all the benefits of that. So I saw the benefits of all of that. I always personally felt very safe. I mean, I still live here now. I absolutely love Lincoln. And also in terms of what I was taught on my course, there was so many opportunities for extracurricular learning, and there was so much support for that. I did some really cool things. And because of that, I still work on interesting and really cool things like this.
Now I'm going to ask you, Darren, to answer Joe Basto's question about roller skating. And then Emma, I'm going to ask you to answer Lewis Whiteley's question. So Darren, over to you. Where could Joe roller skate?
Where could Joe roller skate? Well, I do know there's a lot of skateboarders that are out. I think we call it the Rotunda area. And there's also the Library Square, which is a big open plan space. But to be honest, the campus, with the way it's laid out, you could roller skate all the way around campus. And so I don't think you'd be short for opportunities. And there's lots of trails as well, which you can do around Lincoln. So yeah.
I have a hoverboard and it's great for hoverboarding on the campus. But anyway, over to Emma, who's going to answer Lewis's question.
So Lewis, my 3 top tips that I would sort of give you would be, 1, to keep an open mind. So sort of keep as open a mind as possible. University is a massive start again almost. So keep yourself as open-minded as possible to join university. Have a go at things. So things that are out of your comfort zone, things that you may have not done at school because you feel as though it's sort of peer pressure and somebody will laugh at you. Have a go at university and literally throw yourself into everything. Everything that you feel like you want to have a go at, go and have a go at it. And my final top tip is learn to cook something. So do a bit of cooking and then you'll make lots of friends.
And Reams, there's a really good video on how to write a personal statement that you'll find somewhere on our website. I'm trying to think the best way to find it.
If you go onto our Teachers Zone, there will be something there. But actually, Reams, if you need some actual direct help, then we can help you with that. So please email inquiries@lincoln.ac.uk and we can pick that up directly with you. But we're more than happy to help with some top tips for personal statements, and we can send something out to you.
And I'm really sorry we're running late, so I'm going to say goodbye to Darren. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your university life with us.
Bye. See you soon. Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Emma, I think you're going to introduce our next speaker.
Certainly am. Our next speaker is Mr. Ben Ball. Now, Ben is the sort of king of accommodation at the University of Lincoln. So the chances are part of the journey and part of the decision making of joining university is also where you're going to live. So afternoon, Ben, we're going to hear all about that.
Hi, how are you doing? We're doing good. I'm coming to one of our new accommodations to be able to speak to you. So I'm in our St. Mark's student village, which we haven't occupied as yet with students. So we've got a chance to put up a demonstration apartment for you that we can give you a bit of you can see the storage that side of me now. And once we've covered the introduction and anything you might want me to do, we'll have a little wander around this apartment with the camera and point out some of the facilities. And hopefully, because the weather's still in our favour, we'll actually show you how far it is away from the Lincoln Medical School. Is it helpful if I give a bit of a run through of some of our accommodation names and things? So we have on-campus accommodation at the university, which is in Lincoln Courts, Signet Wharf and 179 High Street. All of these places you can get on our information, the website of the university and our information resource, which is accommodation.lincoln.ac.uk. And you get a lot more images on there than the website holds, but university website and that resource location. So on campus, that gives us just over 1,800 bedrooms, the majority of which are en suite, and generally in apartments in that group of accommodation, between 3 and 16 students. Just over to the north of our campus, we have Viking House, which offers us just under 300 rooms. Again, all en suite, but in Viking House, we have some fairly large apartments, one up to 23 people. So that's a decision that some people might need to think about, is the number of people they might want to share with. Here in St. Mark's, we're dealing with between 9 and 12 people generally. We then have Valentine Court, which is a little bit down the road from the university, about 10 minutes walk away, but you pass the number of stores and you have to pass McDonald's to get to the campus and St. Mark's. So it's actually about a 10-minute walk maximum from there. And then just in between that and immediately opposite our university car park is the Gateway, and the Gateway has just over 500 bedrooms, mainly studio rooms. But the studio rooms are set in an apartment setting, which means that you can have your independent living, but you can still socialize with friends and colleagues from courses and things like that. And that goes down very well with people who might have medicines who they need to store, or people who have food allergies and they need to be conscious about that kind of thing. And then immediately opposite the university, Isaac Newton building and the AAD, as you saw in the images you referred, is the St. Mark's Student Village, which by the time we get to October intake will offer us, with just a little bit of work still to complete, 1,222 ensuite bedrooms, absolutely a stone's throw away for the university.
That's amazing, Ben. Do you want to give us a quick tour of the space you're in?
Right, just give me a minute while we do a little bit of moving and shaking, as they call it. So I'm at the end of the room now. My colleague is just about to pick up the camera location so we can get there. And so here I am in the room, at the end of the room. You've got a desking facility with drawers, storage for bookshelves, pin boards. Lots of people can make this their own space, their own. We've got a lot of university stuff up. A double bed. It's a small double bed, actually officially a 3/4 bed, but there's a lot of storage in the room. You can see the bed heads there. There's storage under the bed as well. You see the other block just behind me here. So I'm in block G, building G of St. Mark's, and there is building H, just to show that the community we're creating. All of the rooms come with a double wardrobe, and we're just going to put the camera into the ensuite. It's an ensuite, but we do want to try and let you see the kind of space that we're talking about. We hope you think it's generous, very bright and shiny.
It's really nice.
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions for Ben, please do post them in the chat and he can answer them as he goes, because I know there's an accommodation guarantee, isn't there, Ben?
That's right. Anybody who makes an application to the university, an application for accommodation up to, I have to do the backwards walking, but I'm going to try hard to keep stood up. Anybody who makes application by the 1st of September is guaranteed a halls of residence space. Not necessarily in a particular hall, but certainly in a halls residence style accommodation of all of that portfolio that I spoke about. As we wander around into this is a 9-bedroom apartment, and you'll see that there are sink units, workbenches, lots of cupboard space for everybody. We provide kettles, and microwaves, and some domestic appliances, all as standard within our accommodation. So mops and buckets and vacuum cleaners. As you can see, lots of storage. Everybody gets a shelf in the fridge, and everybody gets a shelf in the freezer. In this case, 2 cookers in this apartment. So let's see if we can be really blessed by the weather and see if we can get you a view of. So I'm in building G, as I suggested, of the St. Mark's Student Village, and hopefully the weather's not too bad. But there is a view possibly of the Lincoln Medical School next to the AAD building, the big white space. Are you picking that up?
So it is a sort of beigey coloured building that we can see the other side of the road. So I can figure it out. So
we've probably seen it now. The road was great, but I like the room. I love the sofa that you've got there. That's gorgeous.
So you have a kitchen, you have a dining space, and also a lounge space. TV provided. St. Mark's Student Village. Lots of our accommodations are similar. You'll see that on all of the website information, or if you have a question particularly that we may not pick up just now, accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk.
Now we've got lots of questions for you coming in, Ben. So can I fire them at you?
Yes.
So I love this. I love this question. This is one of my favourite questions of all time. This is from Chris Skiba. What aren't you allowed to have in the rooms?
Well, effectively things that are dangerous or may affect your other colleagues. So other people in the apartment. So one of the things is pets. There needs to be particular arrangement for people who have assistance animals. Otherwise, no pets. And then what we're saying is things that are dangerous to other people and therefore or our systems. So that would be my initial answer. If you've got something specific that you're talking about, then that would be better to ask us that question about that item via email, I think.
There's not a huge amount that isn't allowed in the rooms, but Usman Malik says, what is the payment per month? So what's the cost per month?
Well, if off the website and our information page you look at the fees guide, it will tell you all of the different fees, because lots of the buildings have a different range of prices. So basically, you're probably going from about £4,500 per year to £7,000 or £8,000 a year if you wanted a studio apartment. Most of our accommodation fees require an early payment once you get the offer of accommodation, and then you would pay the balances termly. So a payment in October, early November, then one in January, and one in Easter, around about the Easter period when students would have received their student loans.
And you'll find that on the accommodation tab for the website, just in case you want to go and look at all of the different costs. That's really good. Faye says, can you return back to the student accommodation for the second year, Ben?
Yes, a number of our not all of our accommodation is open to returning students, but quite a high proportion is. So certainly St Mark's will, Valentine Court does, the Gateway does, parts of Lincoln Court do, 179 High Street I don't think does, and Signet Wharf is not for returning students. Unless there are some students who may have a disability or medical condition where they're supported by the University Wellbeing team, they would take advice and we would take guidance from them if they're required to be in the same location to support some of those medical needs or conditions.
And Reams wasn't sure which accommodation this is, so I'll just say it's St Mark's. Acid Bunny asked a really sweet question. Are desktop PCs allowed? And I'll just say quickly before Ben answers you Acid Bunny, it's your space where you live. You can pretty much do what you like. Is that fair to say, Ben?
Just about. It'll be a blank room, not as you've just seen. We've tried to set it up as if it was a student, but it's just your style. If you're bringing a desktop PC, you might want to place the PC unit under the desk and bring the wires up. There'll be one of the desktop tidy holes that you can bring wires up. Some of our fittings have the power on the top of the desk, so that would just be easy. You would just need to organise your cables.
And the final question is from Libby Pemberton, a really good question. If I'm applying this year for the entry date of 2022, do I need to apply for accommodation this year, Ben?
No, you apply for the accommodation for your year of entry. So we're dealing with 2021 entry right now. We would open up, if we follow suit with how we are this year, we would open up for 2022 entry in around about November 2021.
That's brilliant. It looks so nice there, doesn't it, Emma?
It really does. I've got one question, Ben, that you may have sort of said, but I'm just going to reiterate. So the applications for this year, so that we know we've got lots of applications for accommodation this year. When do they know where they're going to live?
Well, the team are processing as they go, and some students have made their application, and there will be some allocations starting to move out. They do have to sort of wait for them to come in little groups, if you like. Mm-hmm. So it's just easier rather than allocating one by one, that we can allocate groups and affect the community that we want to try and create for all of our halls of residence.
Sorry, you go. You're probably going to do what I was going to do, Emma.
I was going to say, can you show us the ironing boards, Ben? Because I think Andy and Hayley would like to see that. Thank you very much.
And we do that, Andy, so everyone doesn't bring an ironing board, or else you end up with sort of 10 ironing boards in one place. And there's lots of other facilities, aren't there, Ben?
And an iron.
It's brilliant. It is first come, Emily, but as Ben explained, there's lots and lots of accommodation here at Lincoln, isn't there?
Definitely. We certainly do not have a shortage of accommodation. Some choice and availability might change the later on that you put your application in, but we will be moving as St Mark's completes to an excess of 4,000 bedrooms under our direct control.
Ben, I have to say, you are the most amazing person and you're so kind. I know when my stepson came to Lincoln, you did everything to help him find the right room for him and to make sure that he was happy. And you and the team are just amazing. So I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for the time you give us. But how would you like to finish this fantastic interview?
I've just seen a question pop up, which was about toasters pop up. And actually, we do not provide toasters, because they are the most common thing that set off our fire alarms, and therefore we can ask the students to manage their own. You can bring an item that is electrically safe, but the thing is choose your accommodation, choose the size of accommodation and style of accommodation. Everything, as Darren suggested to us, is close by. That was part of what we tried to do out of the window. This is a brand new development that is literally 3 or 4 minutes walk off the university campus and may as well be on the university campus.
Just before,
sorry.
Oh gosh, sorry, we're talking over each other, Ellie. We're getting too excited.
I know.
I was thinking just before, 2 things. Can I just say 2 things? That all of the accommodation staff are here to answer all of the questions when Ben leaves. So don't panic. We will come, Ben, Amy and the team will come to your questions. But the final sort of one that I wanted to sort of pull out was about the resident warden system that we've got in place, which Jamie Smith has sort of alluded to.
So we work with our student support team, who have a team of wardens who currently live in the accommodation, and they're there as a supporting group for anybody who might have whatever the problem might be. And it gives them an idea, an opportunity. I like to think of them as a shoulder to lean on. They're not necessarily going to give you the answer to everything, but they're going to know where you can find it. So, if at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, you're not sure what you should be doing about something, they're a point of contact that people can make. And they're here all of the time. The accommodation team have 24/7 representation around the buildings. And it's very important to us that we support that community approach, that people can take advice and guidance at any time.
James is asking about, will the physical receptions be manned 24/7 in the accommodation? She's worried about parcel deliveries.
Our receptions are not open 24/7, but the parcel delivery companies know that. So the parcel delivery companies generally work out when the receptions are open. A number of them are open till we're at different times because of COVID, but our normal project would be to 8 o'clock in the evening. Most delivery organisations would stop delivering by 5 or 6 o'clock because they know that we're starting to close down by then. So lots of the companies know our opening times, and we receive hundreds of parcels a day.
That's really brilliant. I just want to mention very quickly, Abigail asked if you miss out, if you decide you're not going to go into accommodation, and it might be that you're going to stay living at home, Abigail. And all I'd say is, no, you don't miss out. The university's there. You're part of the university community here at Lincoln. We're very proud. We have an academic, a very family sort of approach to our community. We support each other. There's lots to do. There's lots to get engaged in. There's lots of clubs and societies to help you make friends. And I don't know if you'd like to comment on that, Emma.
I'd just sort of say, every student's journey is very individual. So, I have, my goddaughter, she was in student accommodation in year 1, and then decided to live at home in year 2 and 3. So whatever that mix might be, or if, you choose to be in accommodation sort of the 2nd and 3rd year, but stay at home in the 1st year, that's entirely up to you. And the accommodation team are here to support you with that. But no, everybody's student journey is completely different. So I think you make the individual choice that is right for you and you're happy with. Don't be forced into something that you're not happy with, really.
And I'm really sorry, I'm going to move us on there because we are running late, and I know a wonderful admissions team will be waiting for us. So Charlotte, I'll leave the accommodation team to pick up with you directly, and just say a massive thank you to Ben for your time. Have a lovely evening to you and the team, and thank you.
Thank you, Ben. So we've now got Caroline joining us from admissions. So please let us know any of your admissions questions. So anything about applying for university. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, Emma and Ellie.
Hi, Caroline. I'm really sorry we're running late. My time management's gone really badly. So I'm just going to say Caroline is the most amazing woman, really supportive, really helpful. Whatever questions you've got, please put them through. She's an absolute font of all knowledge. So Caroline, I'll hand over to you to do a bit of an overview for us, if that's okay.
Of course. Would you like me just to talk about the admissions process generally? Yeah,
yes,
that would be helpful. Right. Yeah, so we're still open for applications. Applications were open until the end of June, and the majority of our programmes are still open, and you can check those details on the website. But probably everybody knows that all applications go through UCAS. So you very quickly, you have up to 5 choices that you can make. It's all done online via UCAS, and universities will receive your application when you've submitted it. So if you're thinking about applying a bit late, that's absolutely fine. There's still plenty of time right up until the end of June. And you, in terms of advice on what to do when you're doing that application, I would say would definitely recommend that you check out our website pages, where there's a wealth of information about the course, the entry requirements, whether or not an interview is required. So lots of really useful information available on there. And if you have any questions at any point about the application process, then please do get in touch. And I can see Darren's put our contact details on the bottom as well. And my colleagues Becca and Michelle are here too to answer any questions on the online chat. So hopefully that's a brief overview for you.
Oh, it was brilliant. The big question I have before I hand over to Emma is safety net. I've heard a lot of talk about the safety net that the University of Lincoln's doing this year. Would you be kind enough to explain it?
Yes, of course. So we obviously understand that this has been quite another challenging year for our applicants. So we're referring it to as a safety net, but it's really about us being as flexible as we possibly can be when we get results in the summer. And I'm just going to read this out just to be so I'm absolutely clear on this. So hopefully anyone who's had an offer now has already had an email from us. But just to explain it, what we're trying to say is that when we get your results in the summer, if those results or your predicted grades are no more than 16 UCAS tariff points below the conditions of your offer, then we will guarantee that your place has been confirmed. So just to give you a couple of examples of what that means. So if you're doing A-levels and your offer was 3 Bs, then we would accept you with a B and 2 Cs, whether that was your actual grades or your predicted grades. And likewise for the qualifications as well. So it's just hopefully giving lots of reassurance to our applicants whilst they're waiting for their exam results. So hopefully I've explained that properly.
Caroline, can I just interrupt the flow just 1 second? Any parents that are watching currently, I know that we've got Andy and Hayley particularly, please go on to, thank you, Darren. Our parents talk is literally just starting in about a moment. Go on to another tab, lincoln.ac.uk, VOD, and scroll down and you will come to the sort of window that is a picture of Gareth Oliver, who is our amazing sort of schools and colleges liaison manager, and he's going to tell you all of the tips, everything that you want to know about accepting your place, student finance, top tips to sort of get ready for your son or daughter going to university. So that is starting now, literally in about a minute's time. Sorry, Caroline.
That's okay. I'm just going to pick up on some of the questions in the chat, if that's okay. And I think Mackenzie's saying flexibility for entry apply to all subject areas. The majority of our subject areas, but some subjects are excluded, such as nursing, midwifery, paramedic science, pharmacy. But that should be in the offer letter that that we've sent out. So.
Megan says, do you accept level 3 NCFE cash early years qualifications for 2022 application, please, Caroline?
Yes, we do, Megan, for the majority of our programmes, but just check the websites. But yes, I think just about for everything apart from medicine.
Chris is having a bit of a nightmare and says, I'm currently trying to apply for another course as there was a mistake with my UCAS application. Is there another way that I can apply for the new course because I've already had my 5 UCAS offers?
Chris, that might be useful if you messaged our admissions team just so we can check that out for you, because it very much does depend on where you are in the cycle and if you've accepted your offers. So get in touch with us and we'll just make sure you give the right advice. But usually, yes, there is a way that we can help that, but it just depends whether or not you've accepted. And there's always a way.
Chris, if you just read along the bottom here, you can give Caroline a ring or send her an email, and she is brilliant. She will resolve this for you. She's just absolutely fantastic. Libby Pemberton, if I applied for a deferred year, Caroline, is there any chance I could change this to enter this year?
Yes, usually, Libby, depends again on which course you've applied for, but yes, for the majority of the programme. So just send an email to the admissions at Lincoln, just tell them what your ID number is in the course, and we'll be happy to do that for you. That's not a problem.
Now, the other big question is obviously clearing is going to be on the 10th of August this year. So it's quite good for those people who, like Chris, have maybe made their application, but now are having sort of second thoughts because they've seen the amazing University of Lincoln campus and heard you guys. How does clearing work, Caroline?
So clearing is a period over the summer, and it's when you've got your results that you can go into the clearing process. People think it's traditionally for students that perhaps haven't got an offer or haven't quite met the grades, but we find large amount of students actually look for new courses during this period because they've had a change of mind or they suddenly found a course better here at Lincoln and they want to change. So it's an opportunity, if there's vacancies, to, if you're not 100% sure that you've got the right course, it's another opportunity for you to perhaps look what else is available too. And also for people that perhaps haven't applied and suddenly think, I really wish I had done and I really want to go to university in October. Again, you can put a brand new application in clearing. So people use it for lots of reasons. It sounds very complicated, but we make it as simple as possible at Lincoln. It really is just a phone call to us. We take some details from you about your qualifications and your grades, and hopefully we just make you an offer on the spot. It really is that simple, and we give you all the information about what to do after that.
And Caroline, what should anyone be considering before they make an application at this point?
I think obviously you have some idea of the subjects that you want to do. If you're doing a new application, you have up to 5 choices, so that's quite a lot for you to think about. But look very closely at our website again. You know, if you're using those 5 choices, just make sure that you meet the entry requirements for the programme, because they are all slightly different. And Emma's just showing you the prospectus, and that's got lots of information. That lovely prospectus, it's got lots of information in there. So just check that. You want to make sure that you do meet those, any subject specifics, and it will also tell you whether or not you're going to have an interview. So look at that, because that will really help guide you and give you some idea of whether or not you're going to get an offer as well. So that's really important, I think, when you're doing that.
And L10HD, you say what happens if you start your course and you don't enjoy it. Obviously, we'll do everything we can if you're at Lincoln to support you in finding the right course for you. So we do have students that transfer in the first year that it's not quite what you wanted. And Emma showed you the prospectus, everyone. If you haven't asked for our brand new prospectus, then please contact us and ask for it, because it's so useful and there's so much wonderful stuff in there to help you. Caroline, we have to move on because we're running late. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we leave you?
I would just say, please do get in touch. The phone lines are open during the day, and obviously we've got email as well. So if you have any question at all that you're not sure of, please just drop us a quick line, and we'll be really happy to help guide you through the process.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Emma,
Bye.
Introduce our next guest as we say a huge goodbye to Caroline.
We're running slightly late yet again, so I'm going to introduce now Lucy. Lucy is from the Lincoln Student Union, and she is the vice vice president even of wellbeing. So, there's been lots of questions this afternoon about sort of the wellbeing of students here at Lincoln, Lucy. So do you want to introduce what you do, what the SU even is? Because lots of people don't quite know what the Students' Union is and what you do. Oh, you're on mute. You just need to undo your mutes. That's a...
Honestly, mistake. So Union is an independent organisation here for students to represent students. Sounds very cheesy, but it's very true. We're not part of the university. We work in partnership with the university, and we are there to literally represent you. Any feedback we get, we take forward to the university and work with them. So we have 5 elected officers. I'm one of them, and then we have 4 other elected officers who cover education. I cover wellbeing and community. We have international, we have activities, and we have campaigns and environment. And we are cross-campus elected individuals, so we will run on an election. It's a full-time role, so all of us run in our 3rd years, and we were elected into our positions. And then for the next year, we work on our remits. So for me, that involves working really closely with our Students' Union Advice Centre, working really closely with student wellbeing and with students. And I have a wellbeing network as well, who are student volunteers, but also working really closely with the local community, the police, the councils, and attending community forums.
And Lucy, we've got 2 minutes left. So would you mind spending that 2 minutes telling students what they can expect if they're joining us here in 2021 in the autumn?
Of course, so there will definitely be a freshers. Freshers in one way or another will take place. Hopefully it will be Quack, which is our club night that happens on a Wednesday. I know you spoke about it earlier. It happens in the Engine Shed, which is our big venue. It's called Quack, and we hand out rubber ducks because it's called Quack. It's always very, very fun. I know I frequented it a lot when I was a student. But if you're not into sort of big club nights, there's also quizzes in the Engine Shed. We always have comedians come and live music. I know we've got a big list of live music and comedians who have been, had to reschedule dates. We've got people like Catherine Ryan, we've got Scouting for Girls, we've got Jimmy Carr, we've got so many big names. It's going to be really, really fun. But we also have our sports and societies. So we have over 150 different sports and societies. I know we mentioned them earlier as well. And they're a really good way to get involved, make some friends. You don't have to be county level at the sport. You can have never tried it before, and you can go and do taster sessions, play it socially, or try out for the team. And it's just a fantastic way of making friends. I was in the dance society for my 3 years at uni, and I actually met Bailey, who is one of our other vice presidents, on like the 2nd day of freshers, and now we're VPs together, which is really cool. And also we hire student staff in our venues. So we have 4 venues: Engine Shed, Towers, the Barge, and the Swan. And as we said, they're all slightly different, but the one thing they have in common is student staff. I was also student staff in my 3rd year. I worked at the Barge. It's got a very special place in my heart now. But it's a fantastic way to be part of a team. And, you do really, when you're on like a busy Quack night working, every now and then, you don't have to do every one, I promise. You can get to go to some of them. You really form that like team, and you make friends for life there.
And what top tips would you give to anyone thinking of joining us this October?
Absolutely, just don't be nervous. I remember when I came as a first year, I was this nervous little thing. And on the first night, I met my friends who I'm still friends with. I lived with them in my 2nd and 3rd year. And, we're still really good friends. I see them like every week. We go for like a nice walk in lockdown because that's all you can do. But you really do make friends for life, and your course is fantastic, and everyone's just so supportive.
That's amazing.
Any final questions, Emma?
I haven't. No, I think you're amazing. You've got amazing support for all of our students. So I think it's sort of check out your website, really, isn't it, and see the array of things that you've got, Lucy. You're an amazing team, and really, I'm really proud of the SU at Lincoln.
Okay. No, that's brilliant. Thank you, Lucy, for joining us. Thank you, Emma, for being a fabulous co-host, as per usual. Thank you. It's been a super night. Thank you to everyone who's watched us and sent us questions and said hi tonight. It's been really fun, and we'll say good night and see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you ever so much.